There comes a time in every man's life when they wonder, where did we come from? Well, in the terms of RWBY, we may be answering that question right now. Everybody out there in YouTube land and beyond the YouTube lands. If you're somehow watching this, well, not on YouTube, in which case I don't really know how you're doing that, but it was terrible, wasn't it? Anyway, I'm Jake of the OneManBand, and I'm coming to you once again with another RWBY mini look, where I take a look at your guys' awesome theories about our beloved video series RWBY, and then I take it, I digest it, I think about it, and I give it back to you on a scale of 1 to 5, and tell you how it ranks and how it is cool or how it drools. No, that didn't work at all. That was terrible. So the love for these mini looks has just exploded bigger than I thought it would. I mean, just there's so many comments on the other one. I mean, that video about the betrayal at Beacon, the whole Neo theory thing, that thing has so many comments, I lost it. I was just all like, what, holy crap. Freaking comments everywhere. But you don't want to hear about that, do you? If you wanted to hear about that, you'd go and actually watch the video. So, anyway, I'm going to be taking a look at another one of your guys' theories that you sent in to me. Now, this theory comes from the YouTube user of Factoid. And it's definitely a doozy, but I do believe that this one may indeed be very, very amazing. And yes, just so you guys know, this is a theory that kinda, it goes along the lines of the whole idea of the origin story of the humans of Remnant. Now, as we know at the very beginning of the series, it was stated that humans were born from dust. Now, take that however you will, rather they actually were formed in the dust, or some godlike being created them from dust, or some other way along those lines. That is what it is stated in the actual series. But this theory actually comes from something that came later on in the series, one of the World of Remnant videos. Now, in the World of Remnant video that talks about Aura, it starts out with a shot that shows Remnant's moon, and you know how there's a big giant chunk floating off of it, a giant explosion thing. The thing is, this theory goes along the lines of, it may have just been the artist's rendition of the shot, or just some flop, but the moon of Remnant looks bigger than Remnant itself, which, scientifically speaking, can only mean one thing. That Remnant's moon is actually the planet, while Remnant is the moon. So picture this. Long ago, in a galaxy far, far away, humanity lived on a planet. They were technologically advanced in many ways, but war broke out. War with devastating weapons, to which created giant environmental damage, and which eventually caused a giant crater to form on the planet, throwing some of the actual chunks of Earth into space. What was done to this planet was irreversible, and so in order to survive, humanity traveled to their planet's moon, which was the only place hospitable enough for them to live on. And it is here that the remnants of humanity dubbed their new home Remnant. And every time they now look up into the sky and see their former home, they remember just how devastating humanity's wars can really be. And it can also be true that so much time has passed that they no longer know that their moon was actually their planet and home before coming to Remnant. Now, I'll be the first to admit, and even the person who gave this theory to me admits, that there really is no backstory evidence supporting it. But there is a lot of things that kind of would lead people to believe this. Now, first off, where did dust come from? Some people believe that dust actually came from the moon that has the crater on it, and it was the crystals from that moon that embedded it into the planet, thus creating this magical substance that humans were able to use. But if the moon is actually the planet and dust is actually the shards from that planet, it would kind of make sense that the humans would be able to wield it in such a way that would grant them great abilities, due to the fact that it's coming from their actual real home. And then there's also the idea of somehow the humans of Remnant, they're able to perform supernatural things, as in they can jump higher, they can take more damage, and they seem stronger than regular people. Now, this could just be from advanced training, aura manipulation, just dust manipulation, using their weapons to an extent. But if, scientifically speaking, if these people were from some planet that maybe had higher gravity and more pressure on the planet, then them going to a new planet that had lower gravity, they would be able to perform more superhuman type feats. They would be able to lift more because things would weigh less, and they would be able to jump higher because they physically weighed less, and their bodies would still be used to their former atmosphere. But unfortunately, over time, and as generations would be born onto this planet, humanity would eventually lose these capabilities. So the whole idea of this theory, part of this theory is actually that they can perform these superhuman feats due to the fact of different gravity and atmospheric pressures on both planets. That's kind of thrown out the window due to the fact that it would eventually be depleted once humanity had stayed there for a good while. But then again, it's anime, and it was somebody's original idea, so the laws of science and physics can be bent in certain ways to help accommodate the mythos. This theory would also sort of explain the whole idea of how humanity is so small on such a big world. As we know, there's only really 4 big kingdoms on the planet of Remnant. And yes, there are some villages and independent nomadic tribes outside the kingdoms, but they're continuously under attack and under threat of Grimm, the creatures of Grimm. So there's only really 4 secure places on the planet, which, if you really think about it, since humanity is so technologically advanced to have robots, combat mechs, VTOLs, cars, electricity, guns, and being able to harness the magical substance of dust, wouldn't you think they'd be a little bit on top of the whole Grimm problem? I mean, then again, in the real world, humanity really hasn't had a alpha predator tussle with anything except really itself. So humanity really hasn't had anything to fight against that was just as strong as it was. But let's not forget that this theory actually does kind of explain why there's a giant crater in the second celestial body of the planet of Remnant. Whether that moon is actually a moon or the actual planet is totally up to whatever. I mean, we're not really sure. Yeah, sure, it's really implied that that indeed is the moon. But let's not forget that in other sci-fi genre movies and TV shows and stuff like that, there has been planets that actually have hospitable moons, and they're completely able to be hospitalized by humans and everything along those lines. I mean, two to just name are the forest moon of Endor from Star Wars and Pandora from Avatar. But then again, this theory would suggest that not only was the planet that now has the crater in it, that was hospitable, but also the moon of that planet was hospitable, or was made to be hospitable by the humans of that planet in a last-ditch effort to save humanity. Which then again makes you wonder, if they are able to terraform a planet like that, then how are they not totally decimating Grimm creatures? Once again, this theory does have a lot of holes in it, and honestly doesn't have a lot of standing ground. But I do believe that it is a very well thought of theory, and a theory that we shouldn't just throw out the window just due to the fact that it doesn't have much to go on it. Because I do believe that if this theory is somewhat true, it would be a fantastic plot twist. I mean, what if in later volumes they have to actually go to that planet or that moon to discover something? I mean, I think that'd be kind of cool, and it would kind of explain the whole idea of the moon. I mean, in the end, I just want to know what's with the moon, and why does it have a giant crater on it, and why is it just so broken? I think that's the real question, and this theory gives us an answer. I mean, it's a theoretical answer, yes, but it is definitely an answer that I enjoy and like. And so, to be honest, with this theory, I have to, even though it pains me to do this, I have to rank it as a 2 out of 5. It is unlikely that this is actually the case in the mythos of RWBY. Do I think it's a good idea? Yes, I do think it's a good idea, and if it is the actual case, it'd be freaking amazing. But due to the fact of so many holes in this theory, and due to the fact that it doesn't have much to stand on, I have to rate it a 2. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad theory or anything along those lines. Every single theory that I've gotten so far has been pretty freaking good. And speaking of future theories, I do have a few that are going on in my brain that I am planning to do, but I actually want to get some feedback from you guys about specific things. Alrighty, so first one. I want you guys to give me theories about where you think the Grimm came from and what they actually are. I want you guys to send your theories in either private messages on YouTube, in the comments below, or you can message me on Twitter, put hashtag Grimm Origins or something like that. I mean, to be honest, I don't really know how Twitter works, so if someone can help me, that'd be nice, but there's gonna be a link right here and down below in the description on how that does, and there's also going to be one for my Facebook as well. And second off, I want you guys to give me your theories on what do you think the Faunus are and where they came from. Alrighty, so technically speaking, I want you guys to send me your theories about the origins of both the Grimm and the Faunus. Now, once again, you can either put them in the comments below, personal message me on personal message me on YouTube, or send it to me on Twitter. Whichever one really works for you. Probably the best thing that would work would be the personal messages on YouTube because you can actually write paragraphs on that. However you're able to figure out how to get those ideas to me, just be sure to do that. I mean, there's gonna be all the information on the screen and down below in the description, not in the comments. Why would it be in the comments? Alrighty guys, I think that's going to end this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed this theory and actually got through me blabbering. So, like and favorite if you've enjoyed, subscribe of course. Once again, leave all your crackpot theories down below and any other comments you may have. And I'll see you guys next time I'm out there in YouTube land. Be a good person, tip your waitresses, and keep moving forward. I'll see you next time. Yeah!